Hi everyone, let's discuss the 8 best foods that you could focus on and eat while you are healing your skin, eczema more specifically. So our approach is basically an elimination approach, the ultimate elimination approach. Now there are some misconceptions about what that means. People think that if you eliminate a food or you eliminate a whole food group, that is the elimination. It's not. What we do is the opposite. You start from the basics, so you delete everything and you pick out the most essential nutrients that you need, the easier to digest foods that humans have always praised and eaten, and what is more essential, more nutritious, more important. Now, once you find these safe foods, you basically build a safety island, an island that you can always return to. So whenever you are reintroducing new foods, whenever you see new biomarkers that your body is, giving you signals that it's not working, you can just leave that out and go back to the basics. So these 8 foods are basically 8 good options to start from when you are picking out the basics. This video is based on one of my Instagram posts, Sharp Mind, Strong Body, check it out. 8 best foods for healing the skin. First food, easy to digest, nutrient-dense foods. So as you can see on this meter, basically, high-quality animal foods are easier to digest. They are full of nutrients, fat-soluble vitamins, minerals, enzymes, probiotics, protein, fat, carbs, everything. They're a complete food. So if you see this meter here, you can see what to start from and what to start reintroducing from. So you go to fruit first. You don't go to grains first, for example. So again, the basic here is to aim for bioavailable nutrition, because gut health is skin health. We are mostly focusing on other aspects of health, not the skin itself. Second food, liver and oysters. I put those two together. I eat those both raw because this is the way that you can get all of those nutrients, all of those enzymes, heat sensitive vitamins as well. And you don't have to eat them every day, so they are not in some ways they are a staple, but they're not something you need to eat every day to fill up your calories, right? So you can have this once a week, for example. High quality grass-fed beef liver, just a piece, eat it raw. Sure, you can cook it as well, but then you are destroying some of the vitamins, some of the enzymes and everything. So if you can stomach it, I would definitely recommend getting it raw. I don't really eat cooked liver that much anymore. It just tastes better when it's raw for me. Same thing with oysters. Slurp them down, they taste fresh. They taste like fresh cucumber with sprinkled on salt, basically. A lot of nutrients there, especially good for the skin, for the gut, everything else. Third food, collagen-rich foods. So what we are doing when we are healing the skin, we are checking out what is the skin even made of. One of those things is collagen. You look at collagen, you look at glycine that is within collagen, you look at gelatin as well. A lot of people, even if they do eat meat, they don't really eat those tough cuts. The cuts that have some fatty bits, have some collagen-rich bits. So one way to bring that back is to eat nose to tail. What that means is you go to the butchers and you pick out some parts that people usually don't buy. So chicken feet, for example, bones. And you can boil that to make stocks. Bone broth, fish stocks, chicken soup, all of those things that have been traditionally used for sick people as well. What it does is this collagen, it heals basically the gut lining, and it also helps you build up your own collagen, your own skin cells, and also gums, for example, and other connective tissue. And to add to this one, I would also eat some nutrients that help your own collagen production, because your body also produces collagen. Vitamin C is one of those. Next one, saturated fat. This is a healing fat. So we don't really want to eat seed oils, for example. Seed oils are mega toxic, very unstable, easily oxidized. They create skin damage, basically, and some other damage within the body as well. So what we want is saturated fat. It's a healing fat, full of fat-soluble vitamins, exactly what you need when you're healing your skin. Same thing for cholesterol. So many of you know that cholesterol is the raw materials that your body uses to produce hormones. But it's also something that basically all your cells contain. You need cholesterol. So use tallow for frying, also topically on the skin, but also, yeah, just for cooking, for frying. Butter, ghee, cheese, eggs, fatty meat cuts, and so on. Also just raw milk. A lot of those good foods have saturated fat. So that's a healing fat, definitely get that. And I don't think I have to mention, but I still will mention that I don't recommend eating industrial feedlot animals because they are fed their unnatural diet. They don't live in their natural environment, and yeah, you can even visually see and compare that farmed fish looks very different from wild salmon. Same thing with grass-fed beef and grain-fed beef. So always look for quality. That is extremely important, very underrated. Next food, raw foods. So this is the natural state of food. If you want your body to naturally heal, you need to give it the foods that it would have in nature, in the state that the food is in, right? So we're not talking about raw broccoli here. First of all, broccoli doesn't even exist in nature. It is cultivated out of wild mustard. But milk does, eggs do, meat does. So all of those foods that you could encounter in the wild, in its natural state, that's good stuff. So these raw foods, they give us enzymes, probiotics, and all the nutrients and proteins and whatnot without denaturing them, without destroying them, basically. It is okay to eat cooked food as well, especially if you need enough calories, that's completely fine. But there is a place for raw and fermented foods. So I would go for about 50-50, something like that. Raw milk, egg yolks, raw honey, steak either raw or just rare, blue rare. Cheese can be raw or pasteurized, so you can check out the raw options. You can eat fruit raw, and you can ferment different foods, kefir, yogurt, fermented dairy. Some cheeses are fermented. You can ferment vegetables, and that's all good stuff. There have even been some studies, and not just some modern study that has been, paid for by huge corporations and whatnot. Old school studies. So a scientist who met a person, a man who suffered from some sort of accident, and he has a partial digestive system. He doesn't have the whole thing. So this man got paid to get these experiments done on him. One of the things that the man did was taste his gastric juices and whatnot. But some other things that he did is he could compare cooked food versus raw food, and some cooked food, especially plant foods as well, they would not get completely digested, and cooked food wouldn't get as digested as the raw food. Something to think about, and of course just anthropologically it is consistent because humans have always eaten some foods raw, some foods cooked. Mostly the cooking was done for plant foods, so if you're picking out raw foods, I would always go for some high quality, clean, nice, nutritious animal foods. Next up, less toxic plant foods. So when you are reintroducing some plant foods, I would start from fruit, heirloom varieties, right? So in Estonia, for example, I go to the backyard and I can get some pears or apples, the same ones that my great-great-grandfather would eat, or grandmother. If we go to the forest, we can pick out some berries. Same thing, they are natural, right? So they haven't been altered, they haven't been man-made, they haven't been cultivated with some chemicals and whatnot. You just go in and you have some berries, right? So that's a less toxic option when you're choosing some plant foods. Mushrooms fall into that category as well as some more tropical fruit. I would say that mango is usually a very good choice for skin healing. Next up, raw carrot and binders. What this means basically is that it's not a food, it is a tool to use for detoxification purposes. We are bombarded with chemical warfare, let's be honest. Hormone disruptors, xenoestrogens, also endotoxins within our guts, and even things like dead candida. So if you have an overgrowth of yeast, that is not the root cause of eczema or skin issues, but it is often accompanied with the whole overburdened system. So how to get rid of that dead candida, for example, and some other pathogens, is that you get some binders, and raw carrot is one of them. I would say fermented raw carrot is even better, because raw carrot in nature, just imagine the plant. The plant wants to protect its root from mice, for example, so it has certain chemicals to protect. So I would rather ferment it first, but even just eating some raw carrots, it's fine. Make some raw carrot salad and that already helps. Just the fiber basically takes the stuff in and brings it out. Bamboo shoots are another one of those options, and activated charcoal. I really like this stuff. People use this even when someone is poisoned by alcohol. Huge amounts of activated charcoal. You can also take this when you have a cheat meal, so you go and you eat some seed oil bullshit and you feel bad and you have bad digestion, you have bad biomarkers. Just take some activated charcoal, that usually helps. And while you are having cleanses, let's say you are healing your skin and you have a schedule, you have some weeks planned out and you keep doing those things. Let's say in the weekends you have access to sauna, so the weekends are a cleansing day, right? So that's when you would eat those things. You would accompany all the other stuff, the sweating, maybe some fasting, therapeutic fasting, and with these binders, right? Last food, sunlight. Many people don't think of this as a nutrient, but your body sure does. Your cells love it, they eat it up, so just go outside, get daily sun exposure. I would say the best way to start your day, people have all these sort of morning routines. I'll have a smoothie, I will go and have some exercise and whatever. The only thing that should be the foundation of your morning is having bright sunlight, if you have it outside, of course. Even if it's a bit cloudy, go outside, get that stuff, because it kickstarts your circadian rhythm. Different secretions, digestion, hormonal things, yeah, the circadian rhythm basically. And of course, if you eat enough cholesterol, then your body gets the signal and starts producing your vitamin D. That affects other things, so it's all super interconnected. So you can really start from the basics, keep consistent, and you already see results. During winter, you can compensate in some ways, especially if you live in the north like me. You can have some light devices. I have a red light device. I'll probably get a vitamin D lamp at some point, and some people even have success with tanning beds. All right. So as always, clear skin comes from the inside out. There's a lot of things to cover when it comes to eczema healing. To really do it naturally, to really do it fully and permanently, and actually maintain that throughout your whole life. To get all the information, instead of having to search through all these videos, these posts, these stories, get the eczema healing online course. That's why it's made. It is distilled, it is complete, it is thorough, and it's easy to apply. Thanks for watching. Stay strong and see you in the next video.